Well, hey, my name's Mark Levitt, and welcome to another exciting episode of my series, Bad Lyrics. Today, my victims are England Dan and John Ford Coley. England Dan and John Ford Coley. Why do I show you a picture of them? Well, quite simply, if you're put in a police lineup, you want to be able to identify them, right? Because they're perpetrators of a heinous lyric crime. Okay. Anyway, let's go on with the broadcast. Today, as I said, they are my subjects, England Dan and John Ford Coley. You know, their name is a mouthful, right? I mean, if you are a lover of acronyms, what are you going to do with this band? You can't do anything. I mean, CSNY is for Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. You had OMD for Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. And NWA is, well, I really don't want to say the N word. But anyway, you know what I mean, right? Okay, anyway, you can't do it with this. I suppose you could call them Dan and John, but that just sounds like that group Jan and Dean who did that hit Surf City, and nobody wants that. So you're plain just stuck with it. That's it. Anyway, England Dan and John Ford Coley scored their biggest hit with the tune I'd Really Love to See It Tonight. It's beautiful. The tune was written by a man named Parker McGee, a Dallas songwriter named Parker McGee. He wrote also songs for Seals and Crofts. So basically, he never wrote a hit song for anybody with actual testosterone. He never did. So, but now on to I'd Really Love to See It Tonight. Now, the song starts promisingly enough in the middle of a one-way phone conversation. I just love one-way phone conversations, don't you? I mean, it's my favorite thing to listen to. Well, you know, first the Beatles, right? Then you got maybe early Billy Joel before We Didn't Start the Fire. I mean, nobody likes that song, right? Anything past that is probably, post-peak. And then you have a one-sided phone conversation. So it ranks up there. So it's definitely good. So it starts off like this. Hello, yeah, it's been a while. Not much, how about you? I'm not sure why I called. I guess I really just wanted to talk to you. Okay, so here we are in the first stanza. We get the impression this guy is just calling this girl out of the blue, right? Hasn't talked to her for a while and is doing the usual, introductory babbling small talk that one does. And then he comes out with the phrase, I'm really just calling because I wanted to talk to you. He's a silver-tongued devil, right? I mean, I'm calling because I want to talk to you. How about if he invites her out to eat, just to watch her chew? I mean, that's his next option there, because this guy just is really a silver-tongued devil, isn't he? Anyway, so like I said, he's just calling her out of the blue. Let's continue on though with the song. And I was thinking maybe later on we could get together for a while. It's been such a long time, and I really do miss your smile. Well, that's nice, isn't it? He misses her smile. But really, he misses her smile? I mean, all right, I guess he couldn't really say he misses her butt or her boobs. That would be kind of pushing it to come out with right away. But smile is kind of arbitrary, isn't it? I mean, he could have just as easily have said he misses her, what is that little space here? Philtrum. That's what it is, philtrum. That little space, that indent between your nose and your upper lip. He could have just easily have said that. It's equally arbitrary. I think philtrum is vastly overlooked as a subject in popular song. And I think, quite frankly, England Dan and John Ford Coley could have remedied that in this song. They could have done it, but they didn't. No. Okay. Anyway, moving on. The next stanza goes, I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. But there's a warm wind blowing the stars around, and I'd really love to see it tonight. Okay. He starts off the phrase, I'm not talking about moving in. What is that? That's pretty abrupt, right? He just comes out with moving in. I mean, he just calls this girl after a long time, and he just suddenly, he's broaching the topic of moving in. I know he says, I'm not talking about moving in, but moving in is out there, right? It's out there now, and that's pretty abrupt. He's going to spook this woman. He's going to spook her right off the bat. I mean, you got to lay the groundwork first, pal. You got to lay that mother freaking groundwork first, don't you? You can't just come out with, moving in stuff. You got to do that shit gradual. I mean, what next? Is this guy going to, propose to her on the phone or talk about getting matching funeral plots together? I mean, just jump the gun. All right, it's not talking about moving in, don't want to change your life, but there's a warm wind blowing the stars around. Really. A warm wind blowing the stars around. Where is this that he's talking about? Does this even make any sense? I mean, all right, I'm not a meteorologist, and I'm not a astrophysicist, but it doesn't seem to me like the wind can blow stars around. It's not like stars are built of kite material, is it? I mean, what's the maximum miles per hour that the wind can actually move? 120? That doesn't have enough force to move stars, pal. You're talking out of your ass. All right. The next stanza goes, we could go walking through a windy park, or take a drive along the beach, or stay at home and watch TV. You see, it really doesn't matter much to me. Wait a minute. This guy, he just listed 3 things they could do together. Take a walk, take a drive, watch TV. And then he says, but it really doesn't matter much to him. I mean, if it really didn't matter much to him, why is he making a list anyway? I mean, what the hell? Why is he making a list of activities for her to do? What are they on a cruise together? I mean, what's the deal here? He's basically earmarked her for these 3 activities. Okay, we do A, take a walk, B, take a drive, or C, watch television. I mean, that seems a little presumptuous, right? It would be like if they went out to dinner together and he says, well, you know what? You can get anything on the menu you want, really anything. Really magnanimous, nice, anything on the menu you want. So she looks down on the menu and there's 3 items. This guy is a prince, right? I mean, he's just playing out her whole day. Okay, he's a control freak. Plain and simple. I'm not talking about moving in. I'm not talking about moving into jail. This guy's like an Ike Turner wannabe or something. My advice, get the hell out. Get the hell out fast, lady. This guy will control your mother freaking life, and you don't want that. You don't want it. He's a fucking scumbag. I'm sorry, England Dan and John Ford Coley. You guys are basically scumbags. All right, anyway, with that thought in mind, I'd like to conclude my broadcast this week. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and until next time, I hope you enjoy the rest of your life. This has been Mark Levitt for Bad Lyrics, signing off.